Today at Pull Start Stables, we're gonna do a little muzzle loading. So here we were this spring at a garage sale down the road, and I found this new in the box CVA Optima stainless steel muzzle loader. I decided last year that pretty much anybody can shoot a deer with a 450. My 450 is just a break action single shot, so I need to make sure that I'm confident in my shot before I just wing one out there. This year I figured I would challenge myself during gun season and only hunt with my muzzle loader until I shoot a deer, and then I'll choose whether I want to go back to my 450 or not. But I have some Remington 209 primers. I got some 777 50 grain pellets that I'll double stack, so I'll be shooting 100 grains. And I got some Hornady SST Sabot slugs. I have 4 of them, to be honest. So I paced off a cardboard box at 100 yards. I've never shot this thing before, but I did look down the barrel, and then I looked through the scope at 3 times power, and I was looking at the same object, so I know I'm close. It might be gutsy going out to 100 yards first, but we're gonna see. Hopefully I can use my 9 power scope and get myself in a group. I'm gonna need to get more of these before hunting season starts. And holy cow, it's like 2 weeks away before the first deer season of the year begins. It's unreal to think of. So I'm gonna load this stuff up. I'm gonna check out my new gun and see what it feels like to fire off a couple rounds. It's pretty sweet. You pull the trigger guard, it breaks the breech open. You load the primer here, so I can load my pellets, and then I can load my sabot and pack it down tight, load that primer, and fire one off. I've got my 2 50 grain pellets here. I've never shot any more than 2, but I do feel like 100 grains does just a great job. I did forget something. I forgot my ear protection. I guess I'm gonna let it slide today, and I'm just gonna have my ears ringing a little bit. Another thing I'd like to do at some point, one of these days, is mark my rod. My rod needs to be marked. I can see that I'm about 1 inch high is my stick out, and that's loaded. So my guess is that this rod would be completely below the barrel. If it was empty, that's a good check, but it's always a good idea to scribe this to know that's where my loaded mark is. I'm gonna just go ahead and push this down one little bit more with this handle. I'm going to close my pellets just so nothing ignites those. Now I've got my primers. And other than highly suggested hearing protection, I'm ready to fire. One more thing before I do this. You can see that my gun stock is currently resting on my gun rest. I also generally put my hand here. Now, last year I shot a 8-point out of this same tree, and I was holding my iPad with my right hand and I was shooting with my left hand, and I was over here. I don't recall if my barrel was resting on the gun rest or if my stock was resting on the gun rest, but it was pointed out to me that if I'm not resting on the stock, I could cause a slight harmonic in my barrel. It's just something to consider when you're shooting. Make sure that your stock is supported if you choose to, but never the barrel. It's a great point. Well, that felt really good. I can't see if I put a hole in my box or not, so I'm just gonna go down there and check. Well, other than feeling what the gun does, which was very cool, my box is unscathed, so I did waste that bullet. I have moved my box up, and I'm gonna try this again. Well, the box is moved. I think I see a very low hit, but the box moved, so at least I can go from there. I was aiming at this corner right here where this comes up. I was aiming at that intersection, and I shot 10 inches low, so I'm 10 inches low at 50 yards. I'm going to straighten this up. I'm going to give myself a 50-yard correction by once again aiming the reticle there, adjusting down until it's on there, and shoot one more time. It's quite challenging with this iPhone to know which camera it wants to focus on, but just for the reference, there's a sight or a shot of my reticle. That is what I'm looking through, and I'm right on the crosshairs. I have no correction. Now, my preference at 50 yards is going to be 2 inches high at 50. That should be 0 at 100. And just referencing stuff, the light colored grass right there where it looks like it was cut down and left, that's about 100 yards. And for the most part, that barn over there, that one is on the other side of another 10-acre deep parcel across the road from there. There's nothing going on in this entire 30-acre field to the north of me, and nobody hunts that. Nobody's allowed to hunt. But for the sake of knowing my target and knowing what's beyond it, I generally limit this hunt to 100 yards. So if I'm 2 inches high at 50, that means I should be 0 at 100, and I'm good for a safe shot anywhere in this area. So I have 2 sabots left, and some may say that my lack of ammo is disturbing, and I agree. I do not have a whole lot of ammunition for this hunting rifle. So I'm going to take one more shot. I don't want to leave myself completely empty. I'm going to leave myself with 1 shot available if I need it. I'm going to take one more shot. I'm going to assume that I'm going to be 2 inches high at this 50 yards. I'm still going to be aiming at that inside corner of the light, and we'll see how far off I am for my one last shot. 50 yards. I was still on here, so now I'm 2 inches low, a little to the right. I feel like I need to just leave my gun where it is and I will try again once I get more ammo. It's been about 8 to 10 years since I have purchased more muzzleloader ammo. $13.99 for a 20 pack of 250 grain. Now we're at $19.99 for the exact same box. Nothing's changed, just time and commodities. It's a new day. I've got my target. I've got more sabot slugs. I've got my ear protection. Let's see if we can really dial this in. I painted my target, so I've got a little bit more to aim at. And I do believe that that'll help all around. I'm gonna set back up at 50. I did make an adjustment on my last shot. I talked about not until I get more bullets, but I knew I was still off. So I think I'm on at 50. I want to be 2 inches high at 50 so I can be on at 100. So I'm going to take a couple shots at 50. If I am at my 2 inches high where I want to be, then I will move the target out another 50 yards, take one more shot, see where we're at. Change of plans. Right down my path, I believe the farmer might be plowing the field on the other side of the tree line. That's probably 300 yards past my target, and I'm shooting down. I still know what's past beyond my target, and I'm not willing to take a shot. So it's a perfect still day. We're getting close to hunting season where we need to have our guns be quiet for a while. But if it ain't safe, it ain't safe. A couple hours have passed. Farmer is all finished up across the field. So now it is safe to continue sighting in the old muzzleloader. So my gun's all loaded. I'm gonna pop that primer in. I got my handy dandy hearing protection today. On noise canceling. So let's see if we can throw some bullets downrange. Today I'm gonna aim at that lower right spray paint dot. Once again, I'm looking for 2 inches high. I'm right at the bottom of that dot. I'm still about an inch low. There we are. We are at our 2 inch high mark at 50 yards. It's time to move that out to another 50, so we'll go 100 and shoot again. If you did not see, when I was zoomed in and I was shooting, the bottom hole was my first shot. I brought it up 10 clicks, and the top hole was my second shot. I do believe that that is 2 inches, and that's a good shot in my book. I do want to point out that everything I'm doing here is by paces. They're my yards. They're not official yards. So we're close. I've paced this off 3 times now, and every time from these weeds here laying down, I've been within 1 pace. That's going to be good enough for a kill shot. We're not snipers here, we're hunters. And if you don't agree with me, well, that's all right too. We are now at our 100-yard mark. I'm looking for a bullseye. That would make me happy. I'm gonna aim at the existing bullet hole center line, just in case I am low still, or for any other reason. If I'm off, I'll be able to see it better. Oh, I'm within an inch. And that's purely me. I'm within an inch, and that's awesome. I'm happy with that. There's no reason to shoot more just to waste ammo and waste time and upset any deer that might be nearby. And that would definitely kill a deer. Eventually, I'd like to put that target out maybe 150 yards, maybe bring it to a range and shoot 200 yards and see what the gun does with the 100 grains of pellets and with the 250 grain bullets. But I'm satisfied with that. I could easily shoot a deer at 125, maybe aim just a little bit high at 150, and that's going to be the majority of my hunt here, so we're going to call that a wrap. And there we have it. Once again, this was my 50 mark. My first shot was a little low. I brought it up 10 clicks, and I ended up 2 inches high at 50. And then I paced out 100. I was aiming for that bullet hole, and I'm here. And like I said, I felt myself a little bit shaken. So I'm gonna call that that limb just fell out of the tree I was just sitting in. It fell on the backside. I would have been fine. But anyway, that's good enough at 100 for me. I'm a meat eater, and that's not going to change my outcome. This CVA Optima is on. It's ready to go. I would like to find another cap for that, but I believe I can manage to not muck it up too bad. So I'm good to go. I have plenty of practice to do in the future with this gun. There's no lie, but pretty excited that this is going to be my primary hunting gun for the 2024 deer season. Thanks for watching. As always, have a great day. And yes, I'm telling you what to do.